So welcome back to the Floriani Software Fundamentals video series on FTCU. My name is Mark Garetz and I'm a National Floriani educator. And in this section we're going to be covering the print preview. So when it comes time to actually stitch out a design, our print preview function is going to be your friend. And you can get to print preview one of two ways. You can come up here to File and click Print Preview, or you can come right here to the Print Preview icon. So let's go ahead and click that to start up Print Preview. And when you do that, you're going to get this opening page, and it's going to show you a picture of your design. So no matter how big your design actually is, it's going to try and fit it onto this first page, because this is just kind of like an opening page. And you can go to the next page by clicking here. And if we were on the next page, which is there, we could go back to the previous page, or we could continue going through the pages by clicking these icons. This icon right here allows you to toggle whether you're going to be on a single page or a two-page display. So if I click two pages, I'll see two pages at once. Now my fourth page is blank, but if I scroll through, you can see my pages here. Now while we're here, you'll notice that this looks very similar to this one, and that's because I've set my print up to be 100% or full size, and this one also fits on the page at 100%, so it looks very similar. You can see that it's actually just a tiny bit smaller, but this is the one that's going to be the actual print size, and that's very, very useful when you want to print it on a material like our Floriani template tearaway, which is a sticky back printable material that you use for design positioning. And we'll talk about this a little bit more in a little bit. Let's just continue looking at our settings here. I'm going to go back to my single page view, and these two icons right here let you zoom in and zoom out, so you can continue to see a little bit closer what's going on. It's just got 3 zoom levels, and you can zoom all the way back out. And then lastly, we have our settings page and our close button, but we're not going to close it right now. We'll come back to that. But let's go to our settings page. This allows us to do our setup of our print margins. We could come here to do print setup to choose a different printer or to adjust the printer parameters. And we have a whole bunch of options here when we go to print out this design. Now, print actual size, this to me is probably the most important one. I always have this checked because I'm going to use this page right here, actually my second page. Let me just scroll to that page. Oh, it won't let me do it. Hold on, I need to cancel that. We scroll to that page, and I'm going to go back to my settings. I'll move this out of the way. This one controls what prints on this page and whether it's actual size or not. If you're printing out a template for lining up your design, it's important that it prints out at the actual size. The next one is the color analysis, and I'll show you that in a second, and I think that's really useful. Printing one page tries to cram all this information onto one page. Sometimes it's successful, sometimes it's not, especially if your design won't fit on the page. This won't work, so I tend to not use that. This one will show you the hoop on the page or not. This one shows the crosshair. Now this is important. The crosshair is what helps you line up the design to your needle once you get it over into the machine if you're going to use a template. And you can see here that I've got a crosshair, and this is a very thin crosshair. If you prefer a thick crosshair, you can click the thick crosshair. So let me just check that and click OK, and you'll see what that looks like. We'll go back to settings, and I'll move it off again, and I'll uncheck thick. Now artwork chooses whether or not to display artwork sections of the design. So, artwork doesn't stitch, so normally you don't have any artwork in the design, but sometimes it's useful to have artwork elements that you put in the design to help you line things up or whatever that you don't actually want to stitch. So if you want to see those in this printout, you need to check artwork. Stitch mode basically shows you the stitches, and you probably always want to have that checked. Remove jump stitches. This is just a little convenience to not show you the jump stitches in the printout, or if you uncheck that, it will show it in the printout. Design colors shows the design colors on the second page, along with the design notes if you have any. And then the title actually also shows up on that second page. And actually, you know what? I'm looking at the first page here. So I'm going to cancel this and I'm going to scroll to that second page. And so here's my title here and other information about the design, the number of stitches, the number of colors, the height and width, and I see here that my scale is 100%. So if I go back to settings, the last one I want to talk about is the Floriani cat. Now what is that? That's a new feature that we just added in this most recent build. And if you have a brother or baby lock machine that supports the camera, which uses the embroidery positioning sticker to position your design automatically underneath the needle, then you can, instead of sticking a sticker down, you can check this and click OK. And when we go to that second page, if I were to print this out on template material, you could see here that I've got a little cat icon here. And this is Floriani's version of the embroidery positioning sticker, and we've made it look like a cat. And we think that cat stands for camera acquisition target. So your camera can acquire this image and it can position it correctly. And this automatically comes out centered on your crosshairs. So all you need to do is print out this on template tearaway, cut it out, and stick it down onto your fabric, hoop it up, and then when you press the scan icon or the position icon on your system, it's going to find this and center up and rotate the design so you get perfect positioning. So that is what Print Preview does, and it's a very, very useful feature. And I just want to go back to it one second because I didn't show you the last page, and that is this page here, the color analysis. Now, in settings, if you want to see that page, you got to have print color analysis checked. So I'm going to cancel that because I do have it checked, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit and I'll scroll up so you can see what we have on this page here. So what it's going to show you is the color, and it's going to show you the order or the sequence that these colors are going to stitch out in. So if a color was repeated, you would see it again. It's going to give you the color name and the color number. It's going to tell you how long it is, okay? So it's going to show you in millimeters how long this is, so you can judge how much thread is on your spool if you might want to change the spool. But here's the really important part that I think is that it shows you a little thumbnail of what part of the design it's going to stitch out. All right, so you can see here this one stitches out the black outline, this one stitches this wing, that one stitches the body, etc. Now, I'm going to tell you another way that I use this page, in that you can spend a lot of time changing your colors in the design to actually match what your thread palette is that you own. And that's very useful to see what your design is going to look like with those colors. But oftentimes your machine won't actually show you these color names. It's going to show you something else. And so what I do is when I load the design into my machine, I scroll through that list of colors that the machine has assigned to color stop number 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. And I write that down over here. So if the machine says Madeira pink, I write that down here. If it says Madeira gray, I write that down here. And so when it calls for the color that I've written down, I know that I actually can put this thread on my machine spool and load it up. And so that covers our print preview settings. And again, it's a very, very powerful feature in FTCU, and you're going to use it a lot.